Railway track blown up in Bryansk Oblast in Russia. Train carrying fuel derails.
Here's a summary of the article.
A train carrying fuel has derailed as a result of a track explosion in Russia's Bryansk Oblast, which borders Ukraine. The governor of Bryansk Oblast of Russia, on Telegram, Russian independent telegram channel Baza, Belarusi Hajan, an independent Belarusian military monitoring media outlet on Telegram. Quote from Bogomaz: an unidentified explosive device detonated at the 136 km point of the Bryansk-Onechta railway line in Anexki district, causing a freight train locomotive to derail. No one was injured. Details. According to Bogomaz, emergency services are currently working at the scene. According to Baza, the 60-wagon train was loaded with oil products and lumber. The Kremlin-aligned news outlet RIA Novosti, citing the government of Bryansk Oblast, confirmed that the derailed train was carrying fuel and construction materials. According to the Belarusi Hajan monitoring project, the railway connection between the Belarusian city of Gomel and Russia has been disrupted.
This post received a score of 8,200, with an upvote ratio of 98%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Less materials and fuel reaching Russian troops in Ukraine the better. Whoever did it, good job.
I've read that Belarusian partisans took responsibility.
With Russia's hands pretty full with Ukraine. It's a good time for resistance groups with a bone to pick with Russia to start going on the offensive.
Would be an awful shame if Chechen were to cause havoc in Russia again. On military targets only, please.
Probably wanna ask someone other than Chechens if you specify military targets only. As we've seen, they're too chicken to actually fight other militaries. They prefer their targets unarmed and helpless.
Don't confuse the actual Chechen population with Kadyrov Goonies. There is actually a Chechen group fighting for Ukraine on the front line at Bakhmut against Russia, just as there is one full of Belarusian volunteers.
More than a few. There's about a brigade's worth, 5 battalions, of Chechens fighting on the side of Ukraine.
Although IDK if I would call them real Chechens, as they have been emigrants for 20 to 30 years. A lot has changed in Chechnya since that time, so for the better but most for the worse.
If you're referring to the early 2000s attacks in Dagestan and Russia, I only want you to consider the role of the GRU in those false flag incidents and what Russia has done to Chechens in the 90s. It goes without saying that any targeting of innocent civilians is reprehensible and is out of the scope of my above statement.
Is that when Russian apartments were bombed and Chechnya was blamed, but it was suspected that KGB planted the bombs?
I like that partisans are targeting things rather than people. The behavior of Russia in this conflict has been absolutely terrible.
Right? Ukraine is mounting a counter-offensive. So what does Russia do? Use up their resources to attack random buildings 4 a.m.
Russia's conventional army is laughably weak and incompetent, so terrorist tactics are all they have. They can't fight other armies, so they can only try to terrorize civilians with random bombings.
It's a FCUKEN joke.
Thank you whoever did that.
Ain't that a shame?
Feel bad for the train, mostly.
The upside for the train is that it doesn't have to help fascists anymore.
Legitimate target during a war.
Partisans at work. Belarus needs to be liberated before all this is over.
Where can I learn more about these Belarusians with a spine?
Partisans doing a damn fine job.
That's one of those odd coincidences? Like all of those Russian politicians who keep accidentally slipping out of windows.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.